Hi folks, this is Karim Raouf from IT Visualizer channel. Today we'll continue our lab, the Star Trek lab. This is the 12th video. We have been discussing in the previous video. The following we have been continuing our discussion of the concept of DFS or distributed file system. We have reached the point that we will map the DFS naming space through a group policy. We will map this DFS naming space as a network map drive using the group policy. We have discussed before that the DFS, it is a concept. Okay, what we will do with it, or briefly what it does, we have our file server. This file server contains folders for each ship or each branch. So we have ships that are considered branches, and we have a main branch, okay, or main office. So our file server contains a folder for each branch and a folder for the main office. This is on our file server. So to make a reliable file server system and redundant and does not fall or does not get out of service, we need to be running for 24/7. We will use something called DFS or distributed file system. What we will do, we'll create something called DFS naming space. This is something like a pointer. Okay, this pointer we will use it later, but hold with me. So this pointer, we will use it to make our file server more redundant and reliable and make it not get out of service. How this pointer or this concept will be done, we will have our pointer. This pointer, it is pointing to our file server folders. As we said before, we have our, here we can see that our data cube, this is the main folder that contains the branches and the main office folders. So what we will do, we will have a folder, okay, which is the DFS naming space. It will be a pointer or a shortcut to the file server files, and these files are distributed in two servers, two file servers. They are identical, so we have two file servers will contain the same data, okay, identical from each other, and they replicate. So if I write any data on this file server, it will be replicated automatically to the other server. Okay, so this is a very reliable system because I have my data on two different servers and they are always updated. Okay, what happens if this file server is down? Simply, in very short terms, the DFS naming space will point to the other server, so you can work seamlessly and without any interruption or with the minimal interruption. Okay, so this is the concept of DFS naming space and DFS replication. Okay, what we have reached in the previous video, that we need to map this pointer. So this pointer points to the file server files as a whole. So when we use this pointer or department shares pointer, we will point to the data queue folder, which contains all of the branches and main office folders. So what we will do, we will map this one. Okay, we will map it through a group policy, and that we have discussed in the previous video. We will map it, so for example, the user in a certain branch can see the department shares or the DFS share. Okay, but one question arises. Now this user is a certain branch, and we know that this pointer or the DFS is pointing to the whole file server folders, that includes the main branch and the branch's files or folders. So how he can only access his files or his branch files? We will do this using or an option called access or enumeration access based. Okay, what is enumeration access based? Enumeration access based, it is an option that when you give a certain user a certain permission on a certain folder, okay, if there are any folders within the same folder, for example, if we have, as we have in our example, the data cube. So let's demonstrate it more on the graph. So here, for example, if I give the Columbia chip. So let's consider this the data cube. So we have a folder for the Columbia chip and a folder, for example, the deep space chip. So if, for example, I give a user in the branch Columbia certain permissions on his folder, he can see only his folder, and the other folders for the other branches will disappear or it will be hidden. So this will be very good for us. Why? So when the user of Columbia or a user in the ship of Columbia try to access this department share or this DFS naming space, he will see only his folder that I give only permissions to him, and the other folders it will disappear or it will not appear for him. So this is a very good way, so every department and every branch can see only its files and shares. Okay, and this will be done using a group policy. So this, what we have discussed in the previous video, we have discussed that we have map the DFS naming space using a group policy. Sorry, it will map all users in the domain. This group policy will map the DFS naming space to all users in the domain, and although it contains all the departments and ships folder, but we have used an option called access based enumeration. This will enable each department to see its folders and hide the other folders. As I said before, the concept of access based enumeration, this feature hides folders from users that do not have permission to that folder, and access based enumeration, or the abbreviation of ABE, came out in Windows Server 2008. Okay, so this we have discussed in the previous video. In this video we will discuss another concept, or we will do another thing. Here we can see that this is the main branch and this is the ships. All of them contains servers and workstations. So let's consider in this lab that the workstations in the branches and the main office doesn't have any system, or they don't have any system installed yet. Okay, so we need to find a way to save time and effort to have for example a PC that contains Windows, or we will install Windows or one PC, and then we install all of the necessary programs and features, and after that we will take an image from this PC and apply it to all of the other workstations in the other branches. So this will save effort. We don't need to install Windows on every PC and then install programs on every PC. No, we will have one PC that have Windows installed on it and all the necessary programs installed on it, and we will take a copy and image from it and apply it to all of the other workstations in the other branches. Okay, well, this kind of method, the one that I'm talking about in this video, it's good for a couple of PCs, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, or it can be good if you are not in a hurry, so you can do it in a little bit of time. Okay, or not so long, so you can use it in a manual way, but it will save time but not that much time. So what if we need to have more faster method and reliable method and centralized method and an automatic method? So what I am doing here, I will have to do everything manual. I have to install the Windows manually, I have to install the programs manually, I have to take an image of this Windows or this workstation manually. All of this I will do it by myself. But there is another way, with the using of a service called Windows something called Windows Deployment Server and Microsoft Deployment Toolkit. These two, when combined, we can deploy Windows and programs to a lot of PCs in the same time. Okay, simultaneously, I mean in the same time, automatically, without any interaction from the user. This can be done, but it will need to have a server to install the Windows deployment service on it and the MDT tool on it, and you need some necessary configuration. If you need to know more about this fantastic solution, I urge you or encourage you to see the DC Comics lab. We have, or I have discussed every detail concerning this solution, the WDS and the MDT combined together. Okay, so this is a very good lab, please see it. As for our video today, we will have a workstation. We will install, or we'll create a virtual machine. We will install Windows on it, and then we install the necessary programs, and then we will Sysprep this workstation and then take an image from it and apply it to the other workstations in the branches. Okay, and we will do some tips and tweaks in the Windows, so we will not install the Windows only, we will have some necessary changes done to the operating system, so it will be more efficient, and then we will apply it after that, or we'll take an image and apply to all of the PCs, and I will discuss some concepts concerning the Windows imaging. So it's new concepts, so please keep with me and watch this video. Please hold for a moment. So let's continue, guys. Now we will begin the lab. We will begin creating a new virtual machine and then begin the process of installation of Windows and different programs and different tweaks, so stay tuned. Here we will make a new virtual machine. Okay, and then next we will name it. Okay, this is one of the machines. This will be generation 1, and then we will give it 2 GB of RAM. We have discussed all of these features in the for this virtual machine and or creating virtual machines in different labs. Okay, the DC Comics lab, the Mass Effect lab, the Marvel and DC United lab. Okay, not the Marvel DC United lab, but the Mass Effect lab and DC Comics lab and Tron Legacy lab. So here what we will do, we will if you need more about the options, please refer to the video. Now we will give it a name and RAMs, 2 GB of RAM with dynamic memory allocation, and then we'll put it on the switch IP version 6 switch. Then next we will give it a hard disk of 200 GB. It is recommended by Microsoft to have this the hard disk or the C partition that will have the operating system installed on it to be more than 100 GB. Okay, so now we have already created the virtual machine. Now we will go and we need to have or insert the DVD. First of all, we need to check the guest services. This is very important to have communication between the guest and the host. So now we will have our image that the Windows. I will install Windows 10 LTSC 2019. This is a very good image, or a very good Windows 10 image. Please Google it and see the benefits of it, but mainly this type of Windows doesn't contain any Windows Store, doesn't contain the Cortana, doesn't contain Windows games or something. It is a very stable kind of Windows or version of Windows. Please refer to Google and see the benefits of this version. Also you can see the YouTube. There is a lot of videos discussing this version of Windows. I prefer it in a production environment. I don't need to have Windows Store installed on the machines of the users, and I don't need Cortana because it takes a lot of memory, and I don't need the Chrome also. Sorry, I don't need the Edge. Okay, the Edge browser is not installed, so all of this it's not installed within the Windows LTSC Windows version. Okay, so now what we will do, we will now tell him next and then install. So now we will make the 200 GB two partitions, one 100 GB for the C partition and the other is for the D partition, which will contain the user's data. It will be also 100 GB. Okay, so now this is Windows 10 LTSC. I accept the license agreement and then custom installation, and then we will make two partitions. Okay, another thing for the LTSC have a very good feature that it only can be updated with security updates. Okay, so you can update the Windows, or it only accepts the Windows updates concerning the security. But as for the Windows feature updates, we know all that Windows 10 has different versions. So for example, there is Windows version 15.05, then 16.09, and then 17.09, and then 18.08, and then the last one it is 20H. Okay, so this it's called Windows feature. Every time Windows release a huge update concerning the Windows feature. It added some features to the Windows. Okay, so this kind of version doesn't allow you to, or it doesn't contain the option to allow Windows features updates. Okay, this is very good because we all know there is a lot of problems concerning the Windows features, because sometimes Microsoft, or it's all of the time, that release Windows features that are not compatible or have many bugs. So the Windows 10 LTSC, you can install security updates. Okay, and if you need to install feature updates, this can be done manually. Okay, in a way, or you can wait for the release of Windows 10 LTSC, the other version, because it is updated every time. Every release contains Windows with new features. So for example, Windows 10 LTSC 1809, it contains the Windows features 1809. Okay, there is Windows 10 LTSC 20H. Okay, it will contain the features of Windows 20 H. Okay, but as I said before, it will not allow you to make any Windows feature updates. It will only allow security updates. So this adds more reliability and stability to the system. Okay, so now this is only to mention. Then we will add, or we will partition the two partitions. The partitions are in megabytes, so the Windows, you need to type it in megabytes. So now we have 100 gigabyte, or it is 97, and then the other one is 102, or we need to format the partition of D. Okay, because it will not be formatted, or you can wait until the Windows is installed, and then you can format the partition when you are in the Windows operating system. Okay, but I do this for saving time. Okay. So now what you will do, now we will begin the initial installation or the initial setup of the Windows. Okay, there is something called out of the box experience, or out of the box questions. Windows ask you some questions to complete the configuration. So now, for example, you ask me about the region that I am from. I will add, or I will tell him I am from the United States. Okay, yes, and then I will begin answering some questions. The other thing, he will ask me about if I need to add any keyboard layout. So first I will add the English keyboard layout, and I will not add the Arabic keyboard layout. Okay, because this will be done using the login script. We have discussed this in the beginning of this series. So I will not add a keyboard layout. I will only accept the default English keyboard layout for the United States. And then you can see that he doesn't get an IP address, of course, because I didn't allow the DHCP to give him IP address, because I'm using something called allow and deny filters. This feature, once it is enabled, you should put PCs or MAC addresses of network cards of PCs in this filter, so the DHCP can be allowed to give IP address to this PC. Okay, this works for the IP version 4, or allow the deny filter works for IP version 4, but for IP version 6 it doesn't work. Okay, so he will ask a couple of questions, or he will ask me a couple of or he will want me to configure a couple of options. We need to close everything related to the online services of the Windows. For example, there is something called advertising ID on Windows. This is for security, you need to close it. So anything related to the online services for Windows, we need to close it. We'll close it now. Now he asks for a user or the admin for this PC. We will create a user, okay, and give it a strong password, and this will be the second administrator, because there is a default administrator, okay, which Windows create by default. And as I said before, we need to disable it and rename it and give it a strong password. Okay, and actually if you see in Windows 10, the newer versions, it disables this account by default, so it does half the job for you. So I need to just rename it and then give it a strong password. Okay, and it is very good to create a second administrator account, and that's what we are doing now. Okay, okay, just a moment guys, because I need to do something. So let's continue. Here we will here what I'm doing here, I'm just configuring some options relating to the DNS of the IP version 6. Okay, so here I'm telling him to distribute DNS concerning the IP version 6. I will give it a couple of things, okay, or I will tell him to distribute a couple of IP version 6 DNS, okay, because I forgot to do it. Okay, for the IP version 4 we have done this already when we configured the scope options. Okay, when we were configuring. Okay, so we can see here that we have the DNS servers, it's 192.168.1.2, and the DNS domain name. So we need to do this for the IP version 6 scope options. Okay, so we need to do this. So I will go and see my or the DNS that I need. The DNS will be 11 double dots 1. Okay, so this is one of the network cards, okay, or one of the subnets. Okay, I need to distribute. Yes, it is 11 double dash 2, so this will be the DNS server. This one is for my host, so and my host is connected to one of the subnets, so I need to tell the and this is the first subnet in IP version 6, so I needed to distribute the DNS of 11 double dash 2, okay, or double dots 2. So we will do this. I forgot to do this when I was configuring the scope for the IP version 6. Please refer to my IP version 6 or the DHCP configuration when we configured the scope for IP version 4 and IP version 6. So now I will add the DNS server, and then I will add the domain name. Okay, so this is a very critical point because I forgot to do it, and actually the whole IP version 6 issue is very new to me, so I am just discovering. I didn't use it before, and actually it's not widely spread because still most of us use the IP version 4. So now we will configure the domain search list. This is, we need to put the name of our domain, StarTrek.local, okay, and add it. So now we have configured for the first IP version 6 subnet, we have configured the DNS for it and the domain name or the domain search list for it. Okay, so here it is. So now we have 2. Okay, if we return to IP version 4, we will see that the same is done there. Okay, and we can see that my new virtual machine here with the scope, it's the domain name. I think there is nothing called domains name for IP version 6, but there is something called domain search list. Okay, so here I try to search if there is something called I think it's the server name, or it is the, I didn't find something called domain name, but there's something called domain name recursive, something like this. You need to search more, okay, because I think there is something missing. Anyway, you need to have the domain name and the domain and the DNS IP to be configured for every IP scope or IP address or IP subnet scope. Now he will ask me a couple of configuration. I need to configure it. So now we need to disable all the online services. So now we don't need online speech. We can leave it find my device, okay, linking and typing. We can leave linking and typing, but find my device, location, diagnostic data. All of these are considered tailored experience. All of these are considered advertising ID. All of these are considered to be security issues or security points, because these are services that are communicating with Microsoft online. So this may be sending some sensitive data, or your corporate policy doesn't allow this, so you can close them. Okay, and mostly we close it because it, as I said before, it's a security point. So now what we'll do, I will just adjust the resolution of my screen just to reflect the screen of my desktop, reflect the resolution of my laptop screen. And now we will have, or we will make some icons appear on the desktop. This is to prepare it to be taken as an image. So I need, for example, this PC to appear on my desktop. I need the control panel to appear on my desktop. I need for example the user or Windows 10 user profile folders or user files. Okay, user files, and we will discuss what is the user files. Okay, what does it do and why it is important. Okay, we will discuss this now, but just wait for a moment. And now we need to change the control panel category view, because this we will discuss in a moment. We will do a little bit of a tweak. What we will do here, we are logged in with a user called Kera01. Okay, this is a user on this PC. This is the first user created. Okay, and as a note, any user that logs in on the Windows will create for him something called Windows user profile. What is a Windows user profile? It is a couple of settings, okay, the Windows make for you, and it is related to you. What I mean by this, for example, if this is my user and I have make some changes to the desktop icons for the appearance of the Windows and some setting, this is for my user. If I logged off and another user logged in, okay, all of my tailored setting that I have done to my icons on the desktop, and for example the appearance of some icons or images or something like this will not appear for the new user that have logged into the machine. For example, if there is user called Kera02, Kera02 will not see the icons on the desktop of Kera01 and will not see any changes done to the Windows, okay, setting for Kera01. Okay, this is to make it a little bit tailored. Every user will have his tailored environment. Okay, what we will do in this lab, or what we'll do here, we need to have a certain Windows profile. For example, I need Kera01, all of his changes in the Windows setting and his icons or his display of icons, I need all of this to be copied or to be identical to any user that comes after him. For example, if Kera02 logged into the Windows, he will see the same Windows setting for Kera01 and he will see the same icons for Kera01. Okay, this is for the unity of the profile. I need to have a certain profile or Windows 10 profile applied to all users. This is very good, because we need to do or if you need to apply certain settings, and these settings need to be identical for all Windows 10 users, okay, or Windows 10 users profile. As we see, for example, I need this category view to be applied to all of the Windows users 10 profile. I need these icons to appear for the Windows 10 users profile, all of them. Okay, so I need to have certain Windows setting to appear to all of them, to all of the users that will log into this machine. So we will do this, okay, using a utility called defprof. We will discuss it when it comes, but take into consideration that we need to have a unified Windows 10 user profile to be applied to all users. Okay, so what I'm doing now, I logged in with this user. I will do the necessary changes, or I will do the common things I need to be applied to all of users or 10 profile on this user. So I will change the desktop, I will change some setting, I will do all what I need, and then after that I will use the devprof profile to make this profile the Windows 10 default user profile. Okay, so every user will see the same setting as Kira01. Okay, so let's continue. Here I'm just opening the network and sharing center. Just a moment. Okay, I think we don't need this. We don't need all of this. I don't need. Okay, so what we will do now, just a moment. We don't need this type. So here we can see that the DNS is 11.-2. Okay, we can have a moment here. Here we can see that this is the DNS. Okay, I just discovered it. Okay, but it doesn't take an IP address of version 4 because it is not allowed. Okay, it's not in the allow filter, so it will not do it. As for the IP version 6, allow and deny filter does not apply. Okay, please refer to my DHCP video to know what is the allow and deny filter. Okay, so now what we will do, we will do another tweak. Okay, in Windows, this is a very critical one. In the practical environment, in the production environment, this is a very good, or it is a best practice. What we will do, we will do something called moving of Windows 10 user profile documents. Okay, what is this thing? I will show you in a moment. Okay, actually when you create or when you log in with your username or the Windows 10 on the Windows 10 system, as I said before, it creates a profile for you. This profile does not only include the Windows setting, okay, but it includes some folders. For example, Kira01 will have a folder called downloads, will have a folder called documents, will have a folder called pictures. All of these folders are related to this user profile. Okay, so if I put, for example, some pictures in the folder of pictures, I put some documents in the folder of documents. Okay, when I log off and log in with another user, for example Kira02, he will see the same folders, but it is empty. It doesn't contain anything because it will only contain the documents his documents or his personal documents. So every Windows 10 user profile have some folders related to the user himself. Okay, so where is this files are located? It is in C users, then the name of the user. So I can show you all here a little bit of where it is. So if we can open this PC and then system, and then we will have users. Okay, I have here, this is my username that I'm logged in currently on the laptop. Okay, if I open it, we can see that there is a couple of folders. This is my Windows 10 profile folders, documents, downloads. So when I download something, it goes to the downloads folder, the documents folder. All of these are in the C users, then the username of the user, or the username of the logged in user. Okay, so let's consider a scenario. If you have a virus that have infected C partition, so maybe you want to delete the partition or your data, or you need to format the partition, so all of your data will be lost. Okay, because it's on the C partition. And actually most of the documents, most of the programs make their save location or the default save location to be in these folders. Okay, so you don't have any choice. Okay, so mostly all your data can be done. What we will do, we will change the default location of the Windows user profile folders from the C users to another location. Okay, and we'll apply this to all of the Windows 10 users profiles, or any user logs in to the Windows, his personal documents or his Windows user profile documents will be transferred from C users to another location. So this is what I am doing here. I will make, what I will do, I will go to the D partition, I will create a folder, and we name it my documents. Okay, my documents, and then I will transfer all of these Windows 10 user profile folders to this folder. Okay, and then remember, we will copy this profile and we'll make it the Windows 10 default user profile. So every Windows 10 users will have his Windows user profile documents to be transferred to here. Okay, so now what we will do, we will go to every one of these folders. Okay, just a moment guys. Sorry guys, now here what we will do, let me go a little bit back further here. So here what we will do, I don't recommend transferring the desktop to my documents, because some users will have or need to have their desktop icons or privacy not to be shared with others. Remember guys, this can be a very good practice if the user, or there is only one user on this PC. If there is a couple of users or multiple users logging into one machine, this will be a little bit of a problem. Okay, because there will be no privacy. But I prefer it as a best practice anyway, because even though there are multiple users, but their data will be safe. So this should be taken into consideration. Okay, you can leave the desktop and then you can transfer the other folders. Okay, so what we'll do, we will have properties. Okay, and then we will go to what we will do, we will go, or we will take the location. Okay, copy, we will right click the desktop or documents, and then we will go to the location, and then we will tell him to, or we will change the location. Okay, to my documents. Okay, desktop. Okay, so now we are transferring the file, so he's telling us that he will create it or he will move it. Okay, so now he will move it. Then we will do one by one. So we'll do the same with documents, and we'll do the same with downloads and music and pictures and videos. All of these are user folders related profile. Okay, so now we will give my documents. Okay, and then we will do this with downloads. Okay, we'll do this with downloads, properties, and then we will go to the location, and then we will do it. So this is the necessary tweaks that we will do to the Windows, okay, before installing any necessary programs. So now we will do the downloads. Okay, and then we will transfer, or we will begin also my music or music. We'll do the properties and then change the location. Okay, and then next, or apply, sorry, and okay. So now it's telling me that this folder is not in the location I need, so he will create it, and this is good. Okay, I need him to create it. As we see here that every time I tell him apply, okay, he transfers the folder. This is a very good practice, because I said before, your partition that contains your system, maybe it will be deleted for any reason. Okay, and it is also much better to have the important documents for the user not to be saved on his local hard disk, but to be saved on a file server share or a file server hard disk. Okay, but this is if you don't have this huge storage data. Okay, so this is also a best practice if you don't have data, or even if this it is for the user's personal data. Maybe it's not work data, maybe it's something like entertainment data for him, so this is also good. Okay, so now what we will do, here we have already transferred the, let me hold for a moment. Here I'm trying to access my host to get the necessary programs I need to install on the on this workstation. So now I have finished the Windows tweaking that I need. I need now to install the different programs. For example, I need to install the Chrome, the Firefox, the Office, the 7-zip, something for extraction and compression of files. All of this I need to do it. So I think we have some time. So what we will do, we need to go and get these programs. So Let me show you all how this is done. So here just a moment. So here this is my host. I will get all the programs I need. So here I will get the Firefox. I will install the Firefox and will install the VLC. This is a media player, the Google Chrome, the Classic Shell, the Adobe Reader. All of these are programs or necessary programs for every user. So now I will copy them and paste them and then begin installation of these programs. And actually I have one program still needed. We have the 7-zip, the program for compressing and decompressing files, and actually most of my programs are free programs, okay? So they are all free except of the Office, of course. The Office, Microsoft Office needs a license, but all of these programs are free to download and install. So the first thing I will install the 7-zip program, the 64-bit version. And actually another recommendation that you install the Windows 10 64-bit operating system, because it supports more RAM. If you have more than 4 GB RAM, it supports it, okay? And mostly all of, and actually the performance issues with 64-bit, it's much better, or a performance issue with 64-bit is much more better than the 32-bit systems. And actually all of the systems now are going to the 64-bit version, okay? So now what I will do here, I have my DevProf program. This is the program that will copy or will make my Windows 10 user profile, the one that I have all the tweaks and necessary things done to it. It will make it the Windows 10 user profile, or a default profile. It will be the default profile. We will come to this later when we discuss the DevProf, so don't be in a hurry. Now we have installed the 7-zip. Now we are installing the VLC. This is a free media player, and it is really famous, okay? And now I have my Google Chrome also. I have an offline version or an enterprise version. You can use it for deployment on a larger scale when we use the WDS and MDT. This also can be used by using the file. It is .msi file, so it is very useful to deploy in a large environment, okay? So now we'll begin installing the VLC. Okay, so have installed the 7-zip, then the VLC, then we will have maybe the Classic Shell, then the Firefox. So we'll have a couple of programs installed. So have the VLC and the 7-zip. And then I will go again to my host and get the DevProf. This is a very critical program to make a certain Windows 10 user profile to be the default Windows 10 user profile for any user, okay? So this is a way I will make KRAOF1 profile to be copied, or to be the setting of this profile and all of its tweaks to be the default for every user, or to be copied to every newly created Windows 10 user profiles, okay? So now we have our VLC installed, or it is installing. Let me see if we have finished, or we have okay, we have still some time. So now we have our VLC program installed. We will then install the Classic Shell, and then maybe the Firefox, and then the Classic Shell. So I think we will pause the video until the installation is finished. So now we will finish the finished VLC, and now we install the Classic Shell. This is a program that changes the Windows 10 start menu to be more like the Windows 7 start menu. We all miss the Windows 7 start menu. It is very easy and was very familiar. So the Windows 10 start menu was not that familiar, and it was a little bit complicated. But Microsoft, in the new releases of Windows 10, they have tried to be more in the start menu, designed to be more like Windows 7, okay, and they have succeeded a little bit, okay, but still some users like the classic shell setup or the classic shell interface for the start menu, okay. So now we have installed the classic shell. We need to install the Firefox, and then we will go and installing Google Chrome, and then we will install the Adobe Reader. So we have all of the necessary programs, and we will install the Office, okay. So we have also most of the programs needed by any user, okay, or any normal user, because there is special requirements for some users, maybe designers, maybe something, but this is the default or the needed tools for any user, okay. So now what we will do here, we can see that I need to do something in the classic shell options. When I right click on the menu, on the icon of Windows, I need to have a certain menu appearing for me, okay. So when I right click on the icon of Windows, I need to have something appearing for me. So we'll tell him show all setting, and then controls, and then something called right click menu. Right click opens WinX menu. What is the WinX menu? Right click, this is the one. This is the one that appears, the menu that appears from a couple of minutes. This is the WinX menu. I have 3 videos, okay, in the Transformers lab, how to make a master image ready for deployment on a large scale, okay. So you can see this video and go to the Transformers lab, search for the video for creating a VM workstation master image. It is from 3 parts. It contains a lot of tweaks, more than this video. Actually, this is a part of the tweaks, because actually I make the Star Trek lab before the Transformers lab. So the much more updated video or the much more updated videos are in the Transformers lab. You can see this one and complete the subject with the 3 videos in the Transformers lab. So now what we will do, we are installing the the Firefox, and now it has finished. Now we will install the Chrome. Okay, I think maybe the time have passed because we have a limit of 1 hour only. Okay, we have still some time. We have 10 minutes. Actually, I will stop after installation of all of the programs. So now we have installed the Google Chrome. So we can see that we have a couple of icons on the desktop. This will appear for all users after we make KRAO1 the default Windows 10 user profile. We can do some icons, put it in the taskbar, pin it on something, and this will appear for all of the users. So this is a very good way to organize the profile and make it more professional. Okay, so now we have a lot of icons. Now we will install the Adobe Acrobat DC. This is the latest version in that time. You can install the Java also if you need. So all the necessary programs, you can add the necessary programs you think it is essential for your environment or your production environment. As for me, I see this is all any production environment, they have in common all of these programs used. Okay, so here we will install Adobe Reader, and remember this Windows 10 version doesn't contain the age. Nowadays the newest, because this was 2019, nowadays the age has been largely improved, so you can have it installed, and actually it's now can be installed separately without need to be installed with Windows. The new version of Edge, it's now on Chrome, or it is on Chrome platform. Okay, so this is also a good thing. Okay, so now what we will do, we now have the DVD of Office 2016. I have copied it to my guest, or from my host to my guest, and now I will begin installation of the Office. So now we have installed all of the programs that we need. We need only to install or the last thing to install, it is the Office, and then after that we will begin making Kira01 the default user profile for every Windows, for every user that logs into this machine, using the DevProf program, of course. Okay, it will take a little bit of time because the Adobe Reader takes a little bit of time, and we will need to create another user on this workstation. We'll make it test, or we will name it as test, because this user we will test on it the different Windows setting. After using DevProf, we will see if Kira01 profile setting will be applied to this test user. So we will make I will make two. I will make another user, and this user will be a domain admin. This user will be a local administrator. I will use this user to make or run the program of DevProf. Okay, and then I will make the user of test. So this test user, we will do it to test our Windows 10 user profile. So now we will make as test, and then we will make another user. Okay, remember, you cannot copy the profile setting of the user from itself. Okay, from the or when you are logged in with this user. So I cannot copy the profile or the Windows 10 user profile setting of Kira01 when I am logged in with the machine with the user Kira01. I need to go with another user, and it is preferable to be an administrator, so I have full rights on the machine. So and then I can copy the profile from this user. Okay, so I will remove this user from the users group, and I put it in administrators group. So by doing this, Kira02 will be an admin on this machine. Okay, I will log in with this user, and then I will tell him to copy from Kira02. I will need him to copy the user Kira01 setting or Windows setting to be copy it and make it the default user profile or Windows 10 user profile for all of the users. Don't worry, we will see this practically, so don't be in a hurry. I will show you how this is done, and we will do a test. Practically you will see it on the screen, so don't worry. Now we are installing the Windows, so I'm installing the Office. Just wait for a moment. I think maybe we have passed 1 hour. Okay, we are nearly 1 hour, so we will just finish the installation of Office, and we will stop here. What we'll do, we need to open the program of Adobe Acrobat Reader and accept the license agreement. If you didn't do this, every user, when he logs in and try to open the Adobe Reader, he needs to accept the license agreement. Okay, but if we do this once from this user, we will not need every user to open the Adobe Acrobat Reader and accept the license agreements. So here we'll tell him customize, and then we need to install all of the programs or all of the Office package. It will take a little bit of time, of course. So you can see here, if we go a little bit under this window, we will see the accept license agreement box or window. We have a little bit of performance. So now we can see this is the license agreement, so we need to accept it. So we have done this once. It will not bother the user every time he opens the Adobe Acrobat Reader. Okay, this is very critical and very important. This is one also of the best practices. Okay, So now we will wait until the office is installed, so we will pause the video until the office is installed. Okay, so now we have already the office installed, everything is correct. Okay, I think now I can stop here, but let me see if I will begin the Windows 10 user profile copying thing. Okay, so now what we will do here, we will pin some icons of some programs in the taskbar. Okay, so every user can see this pinned icons. So here we will pin the Word, the Office. Okay, so you are pinning a lot of things, so every user can see this pins. It a little bit of organizing or making the desktop more useful for every user. So now we are pinning the different icons for the different programs. Okay, you can add what you need. Okay, so here we are adding all of the things we need in the taskbar. So because this profile will be the default Windows 10 profile for every user, so this user should be ideal, or it will be perfect. Okay, it will be the template for every user profile. So here we are pinning everything. So I have pinned the Excel and the Word and the PowerPoint and the Outlook. So now we will I think we will pause the video here. We will begin the upcoming video, will begin copying the profile of Kera of 1. Okay, copy it or make it the default Windows 10 user profile for every user, so every user will see the same taskbar, the same icons pinned on the taskbar, the same icons on the desktop, the same setting for the Windows. Everything will be the same as the profile of Kera of 1. Okay, so hope this video is informative for you all. I will stop here and I will discuss it the upcoming video. Hope this video is informative for you all, and let me just note which it's 51:39, so I will stop here. Sorry. Hope this video is informative for you all, and would like to thank you all for viewing. Thank you so much.